Welcome back to another episode of Simply Thriving in the North with your hosts, Aurora Leigh and Brent Goerz. We have a very special guest with us here today, Corinna Prince, and I have known Corinna since I was a youth. It's really nice to reconnect with Corinna again after quite some time. Welcome, Corinna.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself? Who are you?
Sure. I'm Corinna Prince. I'm from Nak'azdli Whuten. I'm from the Leigh clan. My parents are Doreen Prince, Taylor Prince, the late Taylor Prince. I grew up, my grandparents grew me up, Juliet Prince and Solomon Prince.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah,
so
thank
you're
you.
Strong Nak'azdli woman.
Yeah, strong Nak'azdli Tseku.
Yeah. So what did you want to share with us today? I mean, we love to get to know our guests and how they want to share their story.
Well, first I'll start off with how spirituality saved my life. Yeah, so the way I found God, Creator, our ancestors. There was something I learned through a trauma course where you make this triangle, and then there's physical, mental, and spirituality. You take one of them away, you can't function. So my spirituality was not there all my life, right? Like I wasn't educated in that part. So that's why I was stuck in addiction. Yeah, so after I got out, it was pretty amazing actually. My spiritual awakening was amazing, yeah. But it took my niece's life though for me to wake up. But it wasn't a very nice awakening, but it got me out. I'm 2 years clean and 7 months sober. This is which I'm pretty excited about. Very proud of myself, but
that's such an amazing accomplishment. Your 2 years.
It is, yeah. Considering I've been doing drugs since I was 12, and I'm now 42, so. Yeah, I got clean when I was 40, so that's a pretty big accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said spirituality saved your life.
Yes.
So you were in a space you felt your life wouldn't have gone on much longer? What do you mean by saved?
I was saved, like, I had nowhere. I had no hope left, nothing at all. Like, I had my suicide planned out. I honestly, I think the stuff might even still be where I had it planned. I'm not too afraid to go check, but I had no hope at all, and I just found Creator and my ancestors, and now that's just how I go. I smudge, I pray, persistently. I'm just constantly in prayer. So I would like to say that spirituality saved my life. Yeah.
So sometimes, kind of in therapy, we talk about crisis. And when people initially kind of experience that crisis, and I appreciate the vulnerability that you expressed there. What many people don't recognize is kind of moving through the crisis and getting to the other side.
Yes.
As opposed to avoiding the crisis or avoiding the pain through addiction.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm curious, kind of from your perspective, even though that's such a struggle when you move through things, was there this intuitiveness? Was there this wisdom? Where did that come from?
My mindset. It's just very, very strong mindset. And a lot of boundaries. I put boundaries up against a lot. Especially like even my family, like my own son. It was quite a struggle at the beginning, but I got through it. Now I could approach everybody and it's easier. So it was really my mindset.
So really in that beginning phases of when you're getting clean.
Yes.
There's so many kind of odds against you. There's so many factors.
Yeah, that's why I just put up boundaries for about 1 month. So it really helped. That's what I did. I did that. I just kept to myself for 1 month because I couldn't be around people, right? Like there's so much people out there, like my family, my friends, they're still using and still drinking, and I had to put up boundaries for them for a while. So
So many people do come back from treatment and they relapse because they're in the same environment that they were in as they were using, or they're around those same people, which is why you're saying boundaries. But what is it about your tenacity, resilience, and grit that you can, that you do use to share and inspire others? Because that's not the common. Like, you would be like 1%.
2%.
Right, which is remarkable,
Yeah.
that you are able to and continue to persevere even though you're in the same environment.
So
You said spirituality, right? I think that
yeah.
really speaks to what you're channeling, or
I really believe it's spirituality, because like a lot of people in my hometown are lost, right? And they don't know anything they weren't taught about this. Like, nobody was in our culture is lost back home. Like, we don't even have our native dancers anymore like we used to. Like, I used to native dance when I was a child, and we don't even have that. So spirituality is where it's at. What will help, right? So
how did it knock on your door?
I was in a dark place where I had to choose, where I was told I had to choose the dark or the light. And that's what woke me up. My niece. She's the one who told me. She's like, here, look here, Auntie, what do you want? Like, do you want this or do you want this? If you choose this, then here's the pipe. If you choose this, then I want you to leave this building and never come back until you know the time's right. And then 2 weeks later, she OD'd in that building.
So the loss
of her life
and her words, going through your mind as you're grieving. Wow. And
I done this not long after, like after she passed, I just started this water ceremony, right? I call it my water ceremony, where I do a cold plunge. A cold plunge for 7 days in the river. So that really helped to let her go.
The cleansing water ceremony.
Yes, it's very, I don't know how to say, but it's very powerful for me, and very interesting to watch. I have a very good friend of mine. She lives in Edmonton. She's seen me do it for 2 years in a row. This is supposed to be my 3rd year, but I didn't get a chance to do it this year, which I'm quite disappointed about, but that's all right, because I just recently lost my dad too, so I like to do it every time I lose somebody. And it helps me to cope with the death, because before I didn't know how to deal with death. So that's why I was so stuck in addiction, right? Like, I thought death wasn't fair, but now I look at it as a blessing, right? So
reframing death in a new way.
Yes, exactly. It's a blessing rather than pain, right? You got to look at it that way. It's a part of life. It's a part of life. And I think it's the most beautiful part of life. You get to go see everybody. Honestly, can you just imagine your ancestors were standing there waiting for you? Amazing. It's beautiful to think about. I think so.
So where are you going now? Like, we drop into this space of where we come from, who we are, and where we're going. Where do you feel yourself giving to others? What fills you with meaning in life? Like, I know you like to help others. Where is that? What does that look like? How has that landed for you?
Right now, I'm in the middle of my teachings right now. I just finished learning how to build sweat lodge, so I'm focusing on a healer, so going as a healer. And so, my first sweat lodge, I'm pretty stoked about it. And it good connection. It's got good connection where I built it, so it was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful. So,
who's your teacher there, or where are your teachings just with regards to
my spiritual
making
guides?
your sweat lodge? Just specifically, sorry, the carpenter in me is coming out. And just when you're talking about a structure there of coming together and creating that sacred space.
Yes.
And so, how was that inspired? And
Well, I have these two fantastic people. They're very amazing. Carrie and Stuart Nash. I believe you know them. Yeah, they're my spiritual guides. They've been helping me. So, and it's very interesting because they give me hands-on work, and it's easier to learn that way, right? So, yeah, they're pretty amazing people. Yeah.
Are there other tools and strategies that you utilize that maybe people who are just starting their sobriety journey, or they haven't started yet, but there's tools that you lean towards if you feel something come up for you? What are those tools?
Herbalism, journaling, painting, like just simple little things that works wonders. It keeps my mind off things. It keeps me focused. Praying a lot. I have a journal for everything. I have a gratitude journal, a prayer journal, everything. So I do a lot of journaling, a lot of poem writing. So
Every day?
Yep.
Wow. So writing.
Yes, yes.
And do you ever get to share any pieces yet?
Yeah, maybe. Fatima wants me to write out a poem so she could frame it and put it into the safe house in Fort St. James. She said it'll help a lot of ladies there, so I really believe so.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be more kind of telling a piece of your story.
Yes, exactly.
So that other people could see that story
Yep.
and see the hope that it provides. Does that feel a lot of pressure? Is that a kind of a gift back into?
It's a gift back to me, I think, because everybody has it worse, right? Somebody always has it worse than you. So I would say it's pretty harsh story, but somebody always has it worse, right? But I know somewhere out there my story will help them in some way. So.
Do you want to share any more parts of your story that you feel some people might relate to?
I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly.
Just whatever's on your heart today.
I don't even know what to share. Questions were more easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned, like to me when we were talking, you noticed that there's more struggle down in Vancouver now than there was before.
Hi, yes,
So
it is.
you've experienced prior to COVID and after, and just the difference in what substances people are choosing and how much more challenging that is.
Yep, it's more challenging for sure, because for me it was just, am I allowed to mention what I used? Well, what I used is crack cocaine and meth, right? But now today it's all heroin out there. It's like heroin mixed with meth and whatnot and fentanyl, and so it's very hard to help them now, right? Like their mindset's different now compared to when I was in addiction. Like it's more difficult to get out. So and yeah, it's very, very heartbreaking to see that. Like there's like it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a piece of isolation and disconnection from one's community, and that kind of contributes to that? Because we're kind of talking about COVID, and one of the significant impacts of COVID, kind of in a negative way, is the isolation.
Yeah.
That occurred, and
That is huge for that, right? Because that's what I do. I can't isolate myself, right? Otherwise I'll brain fog and whatnot. So yeah, that's a big part of addiction. So isolation, yeah. And from my point of view too, during COVID, like drug dealing became one of the, how do you say that on a job title?
Right.
Like everybody was selling drugs during COVID. Like everybody was a drug dealer. So
People that didn't normally drug deal
Yeah.
chose to go to that
because
because
everybody
of
was
COVID.
like, yeah.
Awesome. Right. And I also know that during COVID, the boundaries at the border were different, so people started using different types of things within the substances, like different chemicals under the sink. So they couldn't really access things like cocaine from where they normally would.
Cocaine cocaine doesn't even look like cocaine anymore.
It's all a mixture of synthetic chemicals.
Yeah, exactly.
And so how that's showing up in people when they recover, it's a lot more of a challenging journey. Hey?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And so how did you notice that those changes have occurred? Like, what did you notice when you visited?
Oh, it's just worse. There's feces everywhere, like because you lose your bowel movements, you like lose control over it. Like there's people just pulling it out anywhere and just pooing right on the side. It's insane. I've never seen that before, and yeah, it's insane. It's sad. It's very sad.
No control over one's body.
Yeah.
So when we met, you were talking about a really profound wisdom about how to connect with those who are in that space and that low. You know, you were talking about, you know, being there and being the light for them. Do you want to share about like how you were sharing about that?
Well, how we did it is we just went out onto the streets. Like we bought because when you're on meth, like you need a lot of hydration, right? So we would buy some Gatorade and buy some food or cook it and go out there. And I would take my eagle feather. I was taught, like they told me not to fan people off when they're under the influence, but I think that's when they most need it, is when they're under the influence, right? So just cleaning their aura with my eagle feather was helping. I brought people in tears just by doing that for them. Like that was big. Like just something so simple as an eagle feather to their aura, like help them. Like that's very inspiring, like, and very powerful. Like yeah.
It seems to be quite emotional being here sharing your story. Do you want to share about that? Like why it feels quite emotional?
My story is very before I lost my niece. I was abducted in October 2021, which really brought me down to not using and drinking anymore. But that time when I quit drinking after that, right? Like that's when I was like, okay, no alcohol, they can't get me, right? But I didn't. I continued to use, and then my niece told me not long after that, like, you got to choose, right? But yeah, just being abducted is what really helped me change my life around.
Still healing from that pain.
Yep, it's very hard to talk about. But if I could do it, anybody could. Yeah. Honestly, people still ask me, like, how am I still here? Because I was so far in my addiction, right? Like, my mom too always wondered when she was gonna get a phone call, like, and her too. She was like, I thought you were never gonna get clean, and so she's pretty happy about my story too. How far I come. It's 2 years. Like, I've been doing drugs all my life.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah.
It'll be really important to do self-care after sharing today. Hey?
Yeah, for sure. I'll go hug a tree outside.
Yeah.
I'm a big tree hugger. It helps.
Yeah. And have you found, because with something like abduction, right, sacred feminine medicine and healing is so important for women to regain their power again after something like that, right? Because you are so sacred.
I don't know, honestly, I don't even, like, I look back on it and I don't know how I did it, because they were trying to put me on a whole bunch of different kind of pills, like, for everything. and even
doctors.
that, yeah, and even that too. I was on like 12 different pills. I just even that I quit cold turkey. Antidepressants, Xanax, Ativan, muscle relaxers.
Well,
I was on all of that, and I quit cold turkey off of that too when I quit using drugs.
So you knew you needed to heal yourself, through yourself, your ancestors, the groundingness of medicine, not pills.
No, the Western medicine wasn't working, so I knew it wasn't working.
The Western medicine isn't trauma-informed enough when they're using pharmaceuticals.
And my spirituality, it wasn't functioning right? You know what I mean? Like, it was so brain fog from all the pills and everything, right? So my gifts weren't coming through clear. So after I quit all that, that's when all my gifts and everything started coming through.
What do you feel your gifts are?
My gifts?
Yeah.
That's for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love seeing how people shine into their gifts once they go through their transformation, and everyone has unique gifts, right?
Right.
Everybody has gifts.
Yeah. We're all born with gifts. We're all very powerful beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's next?
What's next?
For you?
For me, I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to get back out into the world. Like, after everything I've been through, it's very hard, like very, very hard. So for me, it's going as a healer. I want to be a full-time healer. I want to travel. There's lots of stuff that I still have to learn. So I'm still gonna stay on this road. It's very, very, very inspiring. I wanna be better.
A lot of times people can see us in our old story still, and that can become a barrier to our healing journey. Like, when our community sees us as the old story. Have you found that at all?
No.
Or have they embraced you and they see you in your new story?
They embrace me. I get congratulated everywhere I go. It's quite amazing.
Wow.
It feels amazing. Like, I have my elders coming up to me and telling me how proud they are of me. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That speaks to how, like, your change can ripple, hey?
Yes, it actually does. I was just the other day, I was told by 4 women that my story inspires them to be better, so, and they're working on themselves. So there's another lady, she just a couple months behind me after she found out I got clean. She's like, oh, if Corinna could do it, I could do it. So she's 18 months behind me. So 18 months, and I'm 25 months today. So this is my 25th mark clean. Yeah.
How do you say no? Like, when you say your boundaries were so crucial, what do you do? How do you do it?
How do I do it? Oh, I don't know. I just can't. I can't be around it. If I know it's around, then I don't go. And honestly, I'm right against drugs. I think people know. Yeah.
You vote with your feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. So, I just don't go. I just don't put up with it whatsoever. Yeah.
So when you're uptown and you see someone from your past, do you just walk away?
Well, I try to help them.
Okay.
In some way. Try to help them in some way. I can't just walk away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so something has kind of made this dramatic shift internally.
Yeah.
Where it's the person that you're trying to help, the person who's still struggling, isn't seen as a draw in a negative way. It's seen as somebody to provide support to.
Exactly.
And that's quite dramatic for you to be able to kind of experience that.
Well, it's just my I like to believe that it's just my energy that just being around them helps them. So, and it does. They're like, the more I'm around them, the more they share with me, right? And so that's what I like. They share what's bugging them. It's pretty amazing. So how energy works like that.
You're amazing.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up about, empowering and motivating? you did share with me before that you want to do motivational speaking.
Mhm.
So what would you like to share that motivates?
Forgiveness is key. Love is the answer. And that's about it. That's all. That's basically what I go by. It's exactly what it is forgiveness is key. Love is the answer, right? You gotta forgive everything in order to move on in your life, right? Like all the bad that your parents did to you, you have to forgive them for you in order to move on. So that's how I'm doing it. Like every time something comes back from my childhood, I forgive them right away for it, right? So it doesn't weigh me down.
Healing those intergenerational cycles.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I
Yeah.
think that's a huge piece that people need to recognize, that forgiveness isn't just a one-time,
No, it's
One-time
you gotta
thing.
do it constantly. Yeah.
especially as you're kind of
I expect-
moving
yes,
through
when
your
it comes back,
memories and
yeah.
experiences and triggers and everything else.
So you gotta forgive as soon as as fast as it comes in. That's how I do it.
When a resentment surfaces, a pain, a sadness surfaces, do you
Just-
bring a lens of forgiveness, a feeling of forgiveness? What does it feel like to you when you do it? Is that
Oh, it's amazing. It's like it's a release. It's quite amazing. It's as simple as words, right?
Yeah.
Simple
Yeah.
as words.
I
It's-
forgive?
Yeah, I forgive. That's it.
Because it's so much heavier to carry resentment, anger, sadness, grief, and instead why not live in a way that's light when you're
Right.
not carrying that?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. You're welcome.
Any final thoughts from anyone?
Well, I also like the piece with regards to the gratitude, where you're kind of engaging in that journal all
Every
the
day.
time,
Yeah.
and the creativity, right? I think those are kind of two very significant pieces that
Yeah.
that are important to highlight, because so much of the time people get caught up in their negative stories, and how the negative story takes over, and to be able to recognize that you're the author of your own story,
Yes, exactly.
and how you tell that story is so very important.
Yes, very, very important.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's huge.
So what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful to be here. Very, very honored to be here.
I'm grateful that you
Yes,
are here.
Yeah.
What are you grateful for, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, the gift of connecting with people is huge, and hearing their story and their transformation, and
Yes.
just their honesty and vulnerability is huge.
Yeah. Very, very, very healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for Jonathan and Rogers TV, and I'm grateful for all of you listeners and viewers out there who I'm hoping can find their own healing journey. If you're just entering it, can be motivated and inspired by what a beautiful woman and survivor Corinna is, and also a trailblazer for her community, but also, witnessing what's ahead for Corinna, right? And the impact that she is making. And by living as a life of example, because that's what I see you as, living a life of example. Thank you. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again.